when I felt like, oh, I'm reaching out to you and now you're not responding, I did feel alone and I did feel like I'm a bit lost.
Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of Relationship Theory. I'm your co-host, Tom Bilyeu, and I am here with my mighty co-host and my amazing wife, Lisa Diana Bilyeu.
I just love doing these shows so I can see how you're going to introduce me.
There it is.
Yeah.
I wanted to call you Mighty Mouse.
Ah.
I don't know why. It's never crossed my mind ever
Interesting
before.
that you stopped.
Yeah, I don't know.
It's a little bit of an insult.
I didn't know if you dig the mouse part.
I don't dig the mouse
That's
part.
why I didn't do it.
Yeah.
Well, there you go.
Mighty. No, I ain't got anything.
Exactly. Now you know why I stopped.
The mighty Lisa. All right, let's dig in. Let's go. Oh, in fact, today we're talking about how to fix disconnections in your relationship.
All right, let's fix it.
All right, let's fix it. All right, first question. This is from Anne Mormon. Could you guys talk about texting in a relationship? I want my boyfriend to text me more, and when I don't hear from him, I feel very insecure, lonely, and neglected. He has a busy job during the day while I'm stuck at home most days trying to recover from an illness. We spend a lot of good quality time together during the week if he's not busy, but I can't shake the feeling that I really would like and appreciate it if he texted me more. I've mentioned this before to him that at a minimum, I'd like it if he texts me good morning, an update on his day, and good night. He said it was stupid and that he didn't have any time or energy to worry about small details like not informing me where he was or who texted who first. I feel like I initiate the majority of the texts and it upsets me. I also see his other social media accounts during the day and I find myself thinking, why can't he send me a simple good morning text if he has time to post a story on other social media platforms? What can I do for myself to change my mindset around this? How do I broach this subject again without being shot or feeling like I am in the wrong or too stupid and needy? And do you guys have any guidelines for texting in a relationship?
Well, it is always possible that the person writing in is framing their behavior in a way that is not accurate. But I will say, as framed here, the person who is refusing to send the text and is saying that's stupid is making a critical error of judgment. First of all, she's saying in a very articulate way exactly what she's looking for. She has not been vague and not said like, I need enough text during the day to feel good about myself. She said, I would like you to say good morning, I would like you to give me one update, and I would like you to say good night. That's fucking rad. The person is telling you exactly what they need to be satisfied. Like, talk about keys to the kingdom. Also, as framed in the question, that's not unreasonable.
Well,
Unless she's saying she needs it broken into chapter and verse, like the update has to be, 6 pages long.
Right.
But I don't see any of that evident in the question. What if what?
Oh, I was going to say, I totally agree with you what you're saying, but there also needs to be leeway. So for instance, when you travel, I don't hear from you. You won't say good morning. Like
I do most of the time.
But here's the thing, I get it. So you do when you try.
Hold on, Crazy Town.
Yeah.
Are you saying that I never?
No, you do. But there'll be let's say you're gone for 4 days.
Yeah. 2
of the days we may text each other right at night when you're like, babe, I'm going to bed.
Well, I almost always text you something in the morning.
Sure, I mean, bless you. You're being defensive.
This is 100% because it makes me think that what's happening here is exactly that. So that if one person, there's a discrepancy between, I guess, expectation and reality.
Saying, yeah.
So for me, I feel like I always try to make sure that because I'm often, because we live on the West Coast, I'm often somewhere ahead of you, which means I'm waking up before you. And I would say 80% of the time you wake up to a lovely text message.
Yeah.
So the way that you were presenting it just now, I felt like I was being robbed of my due credit.
80, look, because it doesn't bother me, I'm not really paying attention. But when I think of days where you've gone and for multiple days, I'll go up to the room and I'll get ready for bed. I'm like, oh, we haven't even texted each other all day. But I'm busy too, so I don't hold it against you. But it's interesting you're getting defensive over that.
Because I really try to make an effort to make sure that you wake up to a text message. After that, you're absolutely right. Yeah, but so when somebody is working to make sure that the other person has something, and the other person's like, what? Oh, you send me text messages? But I mean, if it doesn't bother you, then we're A-okay. And then I guess I just don't need to worry about texting you first thing in the morning.
Huh. Now you've said it, I'll be like, oh, if you don't text me. So it's interesting that it's something that I haven't really paid too much attention to. So I really will now, because if you make an actual effort, like that's a bit shitty on my part for not like.
I wouldn't say it's shitty.
But not shitty, but like everyone wants to be appreciated. So if you're making an effort to text me in the morning, I should show appreciation. Like I'm saying it for myself. So in my head, it was like, you text me sometimes, literally we'll go all day and I'll text you and I won't hear from you. I'll text you again, I won't hear from you. I'll text you again, I won't hear from you. But I know that you're super busy, so I don't think about it. I forgot, like this, we kind of got derailed.
Well, so she's saying basically that she has made a very simple request, in my opinion.
Right. So sorry, that's what I was going to say. So what if sometimes he doesn't? How does she then respond to that? Like, does he ever like try for a couple of days and then he doesn't, and that's when she gets annoyed? And he's just like, oh my God, I just didn't do it for one day and now you're upset? Or is it really, like you said, how she painted it here, where she's like, hey, this is what I would love. And he's like, no, that's stupid. Well, if someone's saying that's stupid right off the bat, like they clearly aren't respecting your wishes. Like, and it doesn't mean that he has to say yes. I want to also make that abundantly clear, because he may have a career and a job that doesn't allow that. And so for him, he may be seeing it as, you don't support me. Like, look, I'm really busy. I'm working really hard. And my social media is part of my business, right? Like, I don't know the situation. Sure. So they have, I'd like a little bit of clarification there, but I guess the point is that you're right. If you're trying to reach out and say to somebody, hey, this is what I'd like, and there's no negotiation, then, you know, and you're saying you're stupid, then it doesn't show much respect. And that would really hurt me. Like, I would be like, I've tried to be really understanding. I've tried to be articulate with him. I've even tried to explain, look, I'm really sick. Because that's what happens sometimes with me, right? Like if I'm feeling emotional and I'm in bed, I'll recognize it and say, look, I'm in bed, I'm feeling really shitty. If I text you, please do respond. Like being that open, and then you'll reciprocate and be like, of course, babe, like 100%. But I also don't abuse that request either from you. So yeah, it really has to be both. Like, is she being really reasonable? It seems like you said, it really does seem like she is. But how is he responding? And is she giving, is she willing to, the words dropped from my head. Negotiate. There you go. So maybe it's like, all right, look, mornings are really tough for me. I'm always really busy in the morning. When I wake up, I get into my morning routine, and texting you isn't one of them. It's like, okay, maybe I can live without a text in the morning. But if you don't mind, it'd be lovely to hear from you. And the reason why is because I'm really, I'm feeling alone. And right now I'm really struggling. It'd be great if I felt like supported by you.
Yeah, and I wouldn't be surprised if part of what's going on is he feels guilty about not texting, and more than he's unwilling to do it, he doesn't want her to feel like it's owed to her, because then he has to feel bad about all the times that he hasn't done it or he forgets. And I remember at the beginning of our relationship, our arguments would center around me doing something, you feeling some kind of way about it, and then me trying to convince you not to feel that you shouldn't feel that way about it, which then basically makes you feel invalidated, which then escalates like the whole argument. And then once I realized, actually, this is about me feeling guilty, I would just start saying, wow, I'm so sorry. I feel really badly about that. And I really don't want to feel badly about this. So I'd like to come up with some solution. One, I would like the forgiveness for having done it, so I don't have to beat myself up over it. And then two, like, let's put a plan in place. Like, how do I go about doing it so that, we're meeting your needs? And getting that kind of breakdown is pretty great. So being able to process through that, figuring out why he's responding the way that he's responding, because at least as painted here, it's a very unhelpful response to be beyond generous.
Yeah. And also, you were always so very honest with me about, look, when I'm at work, you explained to me the situation. I'm with a bunch of guys. We're in business. I'm going hard. I want to, perform at my absolute best. So I'm not thinking about my wife at home. And you were very honest with me. You're like, look, that's got nothing to do with you, babe. I love you so much. But when I'm at work, I'm in a different mode. There are different chemicals pumping in my body. I do not want to be romantic. I do not want to be texting you lovey-dovey text messages, because I'm in a very intense, masculine grind environment. And so having you explain that to me actually was really helpful for me to say, okay, like I get it, but what if I do need to get in contact with you? How do we handle that? Because you just ignoring me, like what if I really do need you? And that's where we came up with the 3 call rule, that you're gonna ignore the first 2 phone calls that I make, but on the 3rd one, you'll answer it no matter who you're with. And so things like that, I started to understand where you were coming from instead of just seeing it from my perspective. Because at the time I was a stay-at-home wife. So I didn't feel like I had much of a life. So everything I did revolved around you. You know, cooking you food and making meals and all of this. So when I felt like, oh, I'm reaching out to you and now you're not responding, I did feel alone and I did feel like I'm a bit lost. But once you really did explain to me everything, I was like, okay, look, you have to see it from his perspective because he's going out and he's having a tough day too. So as much as I like to think, oh, but I'm alone and woe is me, he also is out there working hard, busting his ass, and I need to respect that. And doesn't mean I have to just like give up everything I want. I just have to respect it, and then we come together and find that happy medium where we're both happy on both sides. Although, in fact, now I'm just kind of talking on a tangent here. In fact, only today, like 10 minutes before I came to set, we were texting back and forth, and you text me back K. And that was one, like, it may have been silly, but that was one thing that I said to you. Like, I don't like you just responding K as in okay.
Right.
Because it's just like, what, you don't even have the time for the O? And it may be silly, and it may be pathetic and minor, but it really bothered me. And so I just said to you, babe, like, please, if you don't mind, like, you text all of your work colleagues and everyone, you text all of them K. I want the O. So today, funny, you text me K and you're like, oh shit, sorry, I actually meant okay, I know you don't like that. And we had that discussion,
you know,
like,
it's hilarious.
That was like 10 years ago we had that discussion.
Literally.
Yeah.
As I'm apologizing for that, someone else texted me, Kay.
Really?
Yeah. I was like, that is hysterical.
That's amazing. But I said that to you like 10 years ago. And even to this day, you still respect that. And it doesn't mean that you're not going to slip up, but you still immediately caught yourself and you went, oh, sorry, babe. So,
yeah. Trying to give your partner what they want when you can, I think is pretty important.
Yeah.